Hold up.
Despite being one of the most talked about wrestlers in the company, The Fiend hasn't been seen in WWE since his WrestleMania 37 loss to Randy Orton. The night that Alexa Bliss decided to turn on him was an eventful one, and the RKO that led to his defeat has taken him off television for several months now. However, with fans gearing up for their return, now seems like the ideal time to bring The Fiend back. Whether he stays on Raw or heads to SmackDown remains unknown. However, choosing his next rival is an important decision for the company. Because the supernatural character is quite a complex one, getting the right opponent is a crucial decision. In this video, we just taking a look at 5 perfect opponents for The Fiend's return and 5 he should avoid. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more wrestling content. Number 10. Perfect opponent, Drew McIntyre. WWE smartly avoided having The Fiend feud with Drew McIntyre while the Scotsman had the WWE Championship, but now, that isn't the case. The two men could compete. They would be ideal rivals at this point, with McIntyre finding his feet once again. The two of them would likely have some very physical matches which would be exciting to see. Having The Fiend return as a top heel to try and add to McIntyre problems would create a great situation for Drew in a storyline, while putting two top talents together is always a good idea. Number 9. Should avoid. Bobby Lashley. As WWE avoided having The Fiend challenge Drew McIntyre when he was WWE Champion, the same should now happen with Bobby Lashley. While matches between them could be entertaining, the fact is that The Fiend shouldn't be in the title picture. The times he has been involved in the title scene before have always ended up quite messy, with the character just not suiting holding gold. It's tricky to write engaging storylines with him as champion, and because of that, it should be avoided for now. Number 8. Perfect opponent, Jeff Hardy. WWE has been misusing Jeff Hardy for far too long, and considering he's one of the most popular wrestlers on the roster, it would be wise to get him involved in a top storyline once again. When fans return, Jeff is the exact type of wrestler that they would support heavily, and he's also the right underdog to go up against The Fiend. Jeff is a master when it comes to selling, which would make The Fiend look great upon his return. Jeff has also dropped hints in the past that he would want to use his Willow character again, and this would be a good situation to do so. Number 7. Should avoid. Randy Orton. There is no doubt that WWE should avoid having Randy Orton and The Fiend feud again at this point. The two men competed for a long time before to The Fiend being off television, and returning to this storyline wouldn't be a wise decision. While they did work well together, their initial feud ran on far too long, and there truly is nothing left to explore when it comes to these two together. The Fiend doesn't need to seek revenge for WrestleMania, and therefore WWE should look to leave this alone. Number 6. Perfect opponent, Alexa Bliss. After WrestleMania 37, most fans were expecting The Fiend and Alexa Bliss to kickstart a true intergender feud. It's something that is hard in WWE, which is why audiences were intrigued, but with The Fiend disappearing it never ended up happening. However, there's still loose ends that need to be tied up between them. It isn't firmly clear why they split apart, and because this storyline could have a lot of great supernatural elements, this is still something that could be explored. Number 5. Should avoid. Riddle. A big reason that Riddle should be avoided is due to his partnership with Randy Orton. The two men have been teaming up lately, and it has proven to be a lot of fun, and with Orton being someone else The Fiend should avoid, keeping Riddle out of it makes sense. On top of that issue, Riddle is a very chilled and relaxed character, which is all part of his gimmick. That's working well for him, therefore not putting him in a situation where he would need to be acting scared and serious is best for him. Number 4. Perfect opponent, Finn Balor. There are plenty of rumors speculating that Finn Balor will be making his return to the main roster in the near future, and if true, he's a great potential opponent for The Fiend. The two men have a history as well, with Balor being The Fiend's original target. Having Finn return to the main roster showcasing the new confidence that he has displayed in NXT would be a great way to go with this. It's an exciting storyline between two returning stars that, if done right, could be fantastic to watch. Number 3. Should avoid. JAXSON RYKER. Just because WWE wants people to believe JAXSON RYKER is a babyface doesn't mean it will happen. Issues in RYKER's personal life mean it's going to be tough for him to win over the live fans when they return, therefore having him as a top face against The Fiend probably won't work. Of course, The Fiend himself can be a fan favorite, but he's far more convincing in the monster heel role. RYKER has yet to prove himself as being someone who fans need to invest in, therefore this should be avoided at all costs. Number 2. Perfect opponent. Kofi Kingston. Right now, Kofi Kingston is the ideal rival for The Fiend upon his return. He's somebody who fans absolutely love and would get behind if an evil monster like The Fiend was hunting him down, and the underdog story is one that suits both men perfectly. The history of Xavier Woods being terrified of Bray Wyatt is also something that could be played upon as well, which would be intriguing. Kofi could put some great matches together against The Fiend as well, with this being a storyline that could be very interesting and feels fresh. Number 1. Should avoid. Sheamus. The key to The Fiend's character is that he strikes fear into all of his opponents. That is what helps to make the gimmick believable, and because of that, he is at his best feuding against somebody that will be terrified. Sheamus wouldn't suit that role, which is why he's someone that should be avoided. While the Celtic warrior can back down at times, and act cowardly, for the most part, Sheamus is a bully himself, and a very physical fighter, which is not ideal for competing against The Fiend. Boom! Becky Lynch in phenomenal shape ahead of WWE Return. With many wrestling fans speculating that Becky Lynch could be set to make her WWE return imminently, a new photo shows that the man is in phenomenal shape ahead of any possible return to the squared circle. From it draw on Instagram, the image show Lynch working out and looking better than ever. Of course, rumors are rampant right now that Becky will be returning to WWE in the next few weeks. Some are believing that Lynch could return as soon as this week's SmackDown, with that certainly one way for WWE to garner some major buzz for its first TV taping back on the road. Other speculation has the Irish Lass Kicker is returning in time for next month's SummerSlam PPV, especially with how WWE is looking to make this year's SummerSlam as big, if not bigger, than a WrestleMania. As such, Lynch finds herself amongst names like Brock Lesnar, John Cena and Daniel Bryan as being talked up for an appearance at WWE's biggest show of the summer. The last time Becky Lynch was seen on WWE television was the 11th of May 2020 episode of Raw. There, the man announced that she was pregnant, as she vacated her Raw Women's Championship to Asuka. Since then, Becky and her now husband Seth Rollins welcomed their daughter Rue into the world this past December. Personally, I say, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.
Oh, let me up with a bright smile on now. Put me in the dark, but won't get lost now.